You know, a repeating word kept popping up in texts that I received from friends and family yesterday, and that word was shaky. Shaky. Whether you knew of Charlie Kirk or not, whether you are politically invested or not, the sheer act, and I think the proximity too, left us all rattled. So what do you do? What can you do when the world leaves you feeling shaky? We are putting that word and that question in front of our good friend, Dr. Matt Townsend. Thank you for being here.
Bet, Brooke. Thank you.
It's a time where we don't quite know what to do with that shakiness or that unsettlement.
By the way, the word shaky, that's so interesting because that's your body. So what this moment created, if you notice, the energy that took Charlie's life actually spread. That energy is spread into our entire state. It's spread to everyone there. The energy doesn't go away, and that energy makes our bodies shaky. Nervous. It turns on a survival instinct and a fight or flight. And it's that emotion that if we're going to actually get through this in a healthier way, it's that emotion that we need to deal with.
We often hear the phrase, and you've said this, we've talked about this, hurt people, and you say there's a reason for that.
Yeah, if we don't deal with the emotion, then the emotion is going to seep out and turn everywhere else. Richard Rohr has a great quote. I love him as an author. He says, if we do not transform our pain, we will most assuredly transmit it. So pain is the key. And again, pain is inherent in life, but suffering isn't. Suffering is when we don't transform our moments of pain into something higher, and we just keep propagating and promoting more and more pain.
So that pain equivalent to the energy you described.
Energy and emotion. We all have emotion. That's part of the human drama.
And the first step, if we want to call it that, you say, is just to accept that, accept the energy, accept the pain.
Accept that pain is real and that it happens. We don't have to accept what happened to Charlie, and you don't have to accept what happened on 9/11, but accept the pain that you feel. Because the minute you don't accept it, you can't really do much with it except one of two things. We either then try to control it, so then we start creating narratives of control, or we try to avoid it. And so you're not going to fix pain by controlling and avoiding it. What we might want to do instead is just accept that this happened. And whether this is the pain of this event or pain of any event, just accept the pain you're feeling, because that pain's telling you what you believe in. It's telling you what values have been violated. It tells you what matters to you. It tells you a lot about you. So if you can kind of sit in it, and then one of the great tools is just breathe and let the breathing take place. Because what we know is if we just have an emotional experience, if a rat ran across this room, it would create emotion in us. But if we just sat and it left, and we sat and we could relax and breathe, that pain or emotion dissipates fairly quickly until we remember it again. So part of this managing the process is accepting that pain is real. It's part of being human, and sitting in it to a point that you can actually feel calm and let your body reset.
Can we talk about the processing piece? It was really interesting to me to watch reactions yesterday on a number of levels. One was the speed at which people felt like, institutions felt like they needed to react.
Get out there.
And another surprising note was just how many people felt the need to publicly react. Talk to us, Matt, about what's the healthiest way to process something like this?
The reality is everybody's mind, once you're feeling that shakiness, you want to act. Our goal, our belief is we need to act as quickly as we can.
Why? We want to get rid of the energy?
Get that energy out of us. The dilemma or the problem is if you're acting too quickly and you haven't processed the emotion, then your action or your conversation promotes the energy, and we keep selling the energy.
You say this, public processing spreads the pain more and faster, and public processing makes pain more permanent.
Because we're sharing it with everyone else, and then you have to deal with what I'm saying, and then that actually, you just take my pain on you, and then you throw it back to me. Again, I don't mind if we eventually share everything publicly, but I wouldn't start there. What I might do is go sit privately while I'm trying to find myself and sit down and figure out what is my brain doing about this event? What am I thinking? What are my biggest fears? Are my fears realistic? Is this a realistic thought, or is this still my panic kicking in? Then I might talk to my family a little bit about it. I remember that's what I did on 9/11, is I wanted to talk to closer groups. I was training a large group of people, and we would have breakout groups to talk, but I would first give them activities to go do some thinking themselves, so that they don't have to take on your emotion before they've dealt with their own. Otherwise, we start compounding emotion as we go through this.
Can I ask you about the proximity of this particular event, and I guess I ask about proximity as sort of a teacher. Like in this case, it was gun violence. It was a horrible, tragic murder. We could apply, I guess, this question, though, to any hard situation, right? Hunger or poverty. But when we have proximity to something this sad, is there a way to use that for good, or at least use that to teach us in a growth-promoting way?
Well, part of it is, again, sit in the proximity to it means it actually is so much more real. Now it's actually, you're present in it. Proximity creates presence in the event. And then, but the powerful teacher is what you do with that experience, right? It's not just necessarily the automatic reaction. What's amazing about all of those people that were there, you saw nature take place. The minute that hit and the shakiness and that stimulus hit, the emotional and physiological reaction took place, and everybody effectively moved to safety. But they now have to sit back and process it. Most of us watching wouldn't have experienced that, except the neat thing about being human is watching people do that turns on our own fight or flight.
We're connected.
Which is important, because everybody that's now watching endless streams of all of this for the next 3 months, you're going to actually start emotionally feeling that as well. And human beings aren't necessarily wired to feel a lot of emotion constantly about something they have no control over. So we got to be careful in what we watch going forward, because we've already experienced it, especially if you were there. We already know, some research shows that the people that are on the ground in an event like that tend to actually move on better than those that sit and incessantly watch it for hours, because they had something to do. They could get out. And in fact, one of them got to my office for help immediately. So they got out and got some help. Others that are just watching it and stewing in it and building a story around it, they're going to keep sharing the energy, adding more energy, and not healing from it.
How do we then heal? How do we transform it?
One of the biggest keys to transform it is you've got to go to a higher value or a higher answer, right? Abraham Lincoln has one of the greatest quotes, I think, really, about the fact that this was the night before, he got inaugurated the night before the Civil War started. Okay, so he says, the mystic cords of memory stretching over every battlefield and patriot grave to every living heart and hearthstone all over the broad land will yet swell the chorus of the Union, when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature.
The better angels of our nature.
All the war scenes, all the tragedies of a torn apart Union will all go away when we are all touched, as they surely will, by the better angels of our nature. If we can dissipate the emotion, if we can process the thinking around it and not immediately get into judging and accusing and blaming, if we can sit in it and then lean back into our higher spirit, lean back into our better angels, and what do our higher values tell us to do? Like we heard in some of the segments before, take the teachings and the spirit of loving people and the spirit of an open voice and an open opportunity to share. Take these higher principles that we believe in and go transform this event with some action on that. Don't just keep promoting more of the same. Promote the higher nature of each and every one of us.
And that was the message we needed today and now. Thank you, Dr. Matt Townsend.